Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Again, we're all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our official website, thestephennightshow.com. Check us out on YouTube and connect with us. We definitely appreciate you. All right, so keeping up the Kardashians, it is over. And they were on for 13 seasons on E! Well, after the show ended, they signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Hulu to have original content. Well, it was announced over the weekend that Travis Barker proposed to Kourtney Kardashian, and everybody was excited for them. They've been dating about 9 months or whatever. And so when family members posted pictures and videos of the engagement, and then there was a dinner afterwards, people noticed there were cameras in the background, which they're thinking this is going to be something to be captured on their new show on Hulu. Now, they had a huge following with Keeping Up with Kardashians. Chike, do you think that people will follow them to Hulu and want to continue, to be in these people's lives?
Absolutely. They have a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
That's no different than an artist that's on a label moving to another label and carrying their followers. It's no different. Same difference.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Nayyir?
Yeah, I think we had a conversation similar to this a while ago. Yeah, they definitely will be following them right along. They both have built-in audience. Well, Barker got a little bit of an audience, but definitely any of the Kardashians, wherever they go, people gonna follow them.
Yeah. Lynia?
If Hulu wants original content from non-original people, so be it. Have fun. God bless.
Yeah, those are people are gonna follow. They already have like millions and millions of followers on social media.
But I have a question though. So they had this party and there were cameras there. No one signed a release.
Well, it's
like none of
it was mostly family, from what I understand.
They still need to sign a release.
Well, I'm sure they did it, but they didn't. They just posted the pictures and videos, but people just noticed there were cameras. You know what I mean? They weren't like
okay.
And because apparently the mom, Kris Jenner, she was sitting at the dinner table and people saw a camera behind her,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so your girl Lizzo. She took to Twitter to discuss opinions of having grace for one another this afternoon. She tweeted, "My biggest issue these days isn't that people have opinions, it's the fact that people forced opinions on others. If you don't F with it, well, something don't." She continued, "We're all having a human experience. We all just deserve grace and patience and understanding." Now, this comes after a now deleted tweet she posted on Sunday night while responding to a commenter. "I promote meditation, plant-based nutrition, flexibility, strength by performing high-energy choreography for 90 minutes straight, body confidence," she continued. And in the video, she tweeted, the tweet read, "And in the video, you're commenting on literally dancing, getting my effing life. If I'm Moby, you're the dick. I suggest you hop off mine, bitch." She followed up with, "Sometimes I wonder why I still do this. The love feels fake these days. The hate is way too real." Now, Lizzo's tweets are garnered a few responses. One person said, "And that's how you queer a bitch." Another person tweeted, "And a role model for mental health and confidence, because people who write or say such ignorance like this can form girls and women." The tweet continued, "You show how you stand up for yourself, and it's okay, stand up for yourself." Now, she did get, some negative comments. One person said, y'all called it last week. She was twerking on live and about to go cry and record that next." Kyle also said, "Nah, sis, you make your bed, you lay in it. And you can continue with that bad behavior and expect everyone to accept it." Now, all this comes from, she was criticized because there was a party or something she went to and she wore this real revealing see-through dress. And a lot of people said it's not necessarily her body, it was just that the dress was ugly. She's about body positivity, which people appreciate, but it just wasn't, she just didn't look good in the picture. You know what I mean? It wasn't, she's a gorgeous woman, but her body didn't look, I don't know. Lynia, do you think Lizzo, because a lot of people, I was reading the comments on some of her stuff she was posting, and they were saying that she screams insecure, even though she puts out this, body positivity and all this stuff, but twerking, like she pulled down her pants, like after they had commented on the dress, she pulled out her pants, bare booty, and started twerking in the camera. and told people to kiss her ass. What do you think?
So if I go back a couple years, the beautiful Rihanna wore a dress,
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing.
Right.
All you saw was nips and
Mhm.
skin.
Mhm.
Different responses for Riri.
Yeah.
But I will say this about Lizzo. Lizzo feeds too much into the trolls.
Yeah.
You could, because you can't, what you can't do with social media, you can't embrace the quote unquote love that you receive, but then feel some type of way, because with that love is going to come the other stuff.
Right.
Why are you entertaining it? Why are you feeding into it? If it is what you say it is, and you are secure in what you do and everything, these people, what you eat, what them people eat don't make you shit, period.
Right.
So why are you going back and forth? Why are you not standing resolute and strong in your spot? If you said something, then that's what you said, period. But people hop on social media and you feel like you got to say something. Think about it like this. And I know all of us may have done it at one point in time, when you've been mad at somebody and you get ready to send a long text and you done typed it out, your fingers is going, and you sit back and you breathe and you read it, and then you delete all of it and send it. Okay. That's how you got to do it.
You know, that's I actually did that, and that's what I never respond right away, especially when I'm mad. Someone tried to check me at work last week, and they were wrong, and I didn't like their response, so I just sat down, I ate my lunch. I was thinking, how do I respond to this? And then after I cleared my mind, I checked them, and they didn't respond back. But you know, I knew how to do professional, because this is email.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is my job.
Yep.
So anyway, Nayyir, what are your thoughts on Lizzo and all this?
Yeah, I agree with El Boogie. I think, you know, when you get too wrapped up in the emotional side of these things, and it is going to be a roller coaster like that for you emotionally. You know, you're going to be up one day, down the next. Just don't feed into it. You know, I mean, the response is going to be the response to the people, no matter what. People are going to always have something to say, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I just think if that's the world you choose to live in, then you have to be prepared to kind of ride that wave. Otherwise, continue to build yourself up around that body positivity, or that positivity that you are expressing outwardly. Be around those people, focus on those comments, kind of pull more from that than you do from the negative ones, and use that to continue to inspire those young girls and women that you're forming. I'm just like El Boogie. Like I don't get too deep emotionally in these types of things, especially when they're opinions, you know, or comments from people who, we all know how people are behind these keyboards. You know, most people are hiding and got their own things they're dealing with. So, you know, it's unfortunate that we still know that this is the real climate, but I'd say she needs to focus on the things that are going to continue to uplift her and her fan base.
Mm-hmm. Chike?
So Lynia brought up Rihanna. Rihanna didn't really come to my head. Who actually came to my head was Madonna. And I know Madonna is a Caucasian woman, and she has certain privileges that a woman of color does not have. Mm-hmm. But if you remember back early on in Madonna's career, Madonna was banned. She was shut down. She was blacked out in certain performances. She was told she couldn't perform certain places. They came on stage and they snatched her off and took her to jail. But what did she say? She said, F them folk. I'm going to continue to do my art, and I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it. You can continue to censor me, but I'm going to continue to be and do who I am and who I say I want to be. Mm-hmm. Lizzo seems like she needs to answer every voice that says something to her. To me, that's childish. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you're an artist and you're a creator, and your aesthetic is a part of your art, and a part of your art is that you are a woman of stature. You're a woman who's voluptuous. That's a part of your art. That's what you project. Be unapologetic about it and just go forth. Nix what they're saying and just be you. Unapologetically, be you. You don't have to answer to no one. Let the money count. Yeah. Let the record sales. Use your voice. Do killer performances. Shut the house down. Do that.
It comes a point where those answers become bigger than your music. You know what I mean? And people,
And as long as you answer them back, you're giving them power, and it's letting people know that, oh, I can continue to do this because you're going to give me the energy.
Yeah. I told y'all
Yeah,
a few weeks ago, Andy Cohen had shared, somebody got an inbox at Bravo. He got an inbox on Instagram and someone was saying, you should be ashamed of yourself. I thought you were better than this. And he said, what did I do? He said, oh, nothing. I didn't think you were going to respond. So it's like people will try to
yeah,
buttons, you know what I mean?
yeah.
This is the one quality I love about Jay-Z. I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan, but this is the one thing I love. He is just completely unbothered by people's comments and thoughts of him. You know, he'll let everything just kind of whatever you think is that's it. That's the truth.
He don't even have social media.
He don't even have social media. You know,
he don't even have. We talk about one of the biggest rap stars. He don't even have social media.
Yeah, this is what I really, one of the things that I really appreciate about his flow. You know, he's just unbothered.
Yeah. All right, well, this is a crazy story. So Los Angeles County filed a new motion on Friday in a lawsuit against them. Now, as reported, Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow, and other families have joined forces to sue the county for leaked images of the helicopter crash that killed 9 people, including Kobe and Gianni Bryant. The county is requesting that Vanessa, her daughter, and other people involved in the lawsuit submit to a psychiatric exam. Now, what they're trying to say is the images were released, but they weren't released, to the public, and they were saying that is this emotional distress? Is it from the accident or is from the pictures? That's what they're saying. They should take a psychiatric exam, and these include children, 4 teenagers, a 10-year-old child, and a 5-year-old kindergartner. It will be an 8-hour examination for a 5-year-old. And so now Vanessa and other families are seeking tens of millions of dollars. The lawsuit alleges that the employees from the fire and sheriff's department shared photos of the crash site, which I mentioned. Now, Vanessa Bryant did respond. Her team responded with their motion. And her attorneys say that the county should seek less intrusive means for evaluating emotional stress. If the court rules with the county, then those children I mentioned would have to do that 8-hour examination. Vanessa's attorneys also said that the client's feelings are reasonable. They argue that the authorities did not protect the dignity of their deceased family members. Instead, they snapped graphic photos of their loved ones' remains, used the photos for cocktail hour entertainment, and failed to contain the secure photos. Now, what happens next? Both sides will go to court November 5th for a ruling. The trial won't begin until February of next year. Earlier this year, Vanessa and other plaintiffs won a wrongful death lawsuit against the operator and other responsible parties of the helicopter that crashed. This story is developing. Nayyir, what do you think this tactic is by the county?
I don't know. There's clearly some fault here, from what I understand. But I think they're maybe trying to just distract. I don't know. I don't know clearly. The only thing I can see is a distraction, but there's clearly some fault here. So maybe they're buying more time so that they can try to prepare for what's to come for them. Because there's going to be some heat from that for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was a 5-year-old they're looking to get as well, the children and a 5-year-old, 8 hours. I don't know how successful that'd be, but it just seems a bit much. So it's definitely a tactic, and it seems to me like a big distraction to buy more time.
Yeah. Chike, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that party probably will go bankrupt. And they're probably, like Nayyir said, they're trying to delay the inevitable. Or maybe they're trying to accumulate as much funds as they possibly can before that day comes. And to me, I understand what Vanessa Bryant, I understand where she's coming from, but it seems to me that, and I understand that she had a tremendous loss, but she's become very litigious at this point, and she's attacking very ferociously in the aftermath of Kobe's death. A part of me doesn't wonder if she's lashing out because of her grief. Just my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lynia.
Whew. I think what bothers me most about this is that those, I don't know what they're classified as, if they were cops or sheriffs, but those authorities who were first on the scene, your first thought process was to take out your personal phone and snap a picture of what was going on in that moment.
Right.
That was your thought process. And it was, I'm going to take these pictures. And I guarantee you the thought process was, ooh, what can I do with these? What can I do with these? Not thinking about their families or whatever. I don't know. But this thing is, I definitely feel like this is to try to discredit and do try to prolong this this suit, which is understandable, because the first time there's this thing called notification. When something happens, when something happens to someone, you're supposed to be able to notify the family first before anything is put out there. And I don't know how that situation happened where there wasn't a complete notification before all the families were even notified, before it was already, before they even started cleaning up the scene, it was already all over the news. So I don't know, and I agree with Chike, like, you know, of course she's grieving. She lost her husband and her daughter.
Right.
And I would venture to say that ever since that happened, everything is coming at her and everybody is coming at her full force. And it started with her mom. It started with her mom. Her mom sued her.
Yeah.
Her mom sued her right after Kobe died. Her mom sued her for money right after she lost her husband and her daughter.
Yeah.
So I think that her thing right now is partially fight or flight. And she hasn't even, I guarantee you, she hasn't been able to grieve properly since all this started.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also have a question about those photos, because it was law enforcement on the scene first, right? Because it was an accident scene, they do have to take pictures. Pictures have to be taken. How do we know that the pictures that weren't taken for the purpose of the accident were the same pictures that got out? Not necessarily people's personal phones.
We don't.
There was a story. There was a story about that where as soon as the pictures were taken, they were texting, and it didn't have anything like it. It didn't have anything to do with them sending them, like, you know, through a chain of command. They were sending them. Look what happened. This is what this was. That there was a story about that, like sending them to family members and relatives, like, this is what happened, this is who was involved. Look at it, like that was a story that came out about that.
Which sounds to me like, I was gonna say, sounds to me like a new law needs to be created, just like in the medical field. We cannot do stuff like that.
Actually, you'll find that that's more common than it's just, this is high profile. That there is laws against that. There is confidentiality laws against that, even amongst colleagues, even amongst the other officers of same department or different office. It is actually several laws, privacy laws around that, but this is, somebody just got caught out there somehow, you know, because they do it all the time. And also I want to just really quick add before Steve, I know you got to jump in here, but you know, Chike, it kind of, I noticed that too about Vanessa. Seems as if, I don't know her, Vanessa Bryant, but it seems like she has become a lot more protective of what legacy he has. It kind of makes me feel like she's grown. She's a very protective of Kobe and their unit and their family. And I'm kind of happy to see her this way and trying to protect versus let people just run with their narratives. And, you know, you don't hear her dating nobody else and all this kind of crazy stuff that she could be doing in spite of grief. It is tough to watch because she's going through this almost, you know, seemingly alone.
But the other flip side to that too, Nayyir, is I wonder also too, because I also know that lawyers can be vultures and predators, if they're not just pushing her to do this stuff to keep them in business.
And that very well could be the case. which
I
is
mean,
sad
if it's been
too.
the same, if it's been the same family lawyers that they've had all these years, you know what I mean? Like now she talking about new lawyers. I don't know. I'm just saying in
Yeah, she
general,
knew lawyer,
like,
yeah.
Well,
like if
I'm just going to use Michael Jackson as an example. He had the same lawyers too, but as
Terrible
soon as he
example.
passed
Yeah.
away, they
No.
put everything in full throttle
Yeah,
to
no,
eat
no.
up whatever that money that was.
He was taken advantage of.
Yeah.
His
oh,
legacy.
you know, he was the,
Yeah.
you know, I love me some Michael Jackson.
My bad, Steve. I just had to throw that out
That's
there.
all right. That's all right. So our last story, real quick. So Kevin Hart's ex-wife, apparently her philosophy is once a heart, always a heart. So she was asked, why does she keep Kevin Hart's last name? And she said, because it's mine, first of all. Second of all, because Kevin never asked for it back. He don't want it. He don't want me to give it back, and he's not tripping. And third of all, my kids don't want me to change my name, she added. That's something that people always ask, and I'm like, that's my name. Get over it. They're gonna always have something to say. I'm gonna be a heart until I decide not to be one, and that's what it is. Now they got married in 2003 and filed for divorce 2010, and their divorce was finalized the following year. They have two kids, a 16-year-old daughter, Heaven, and 14-year-old son, Hendrix. Now, she also feels that she does work very hard for her name, you know, with her shows and being professional and you know, training and everything, you know, to be at her top, not just a comedian. But she said that she's urging his fans to get him to start promoting her work. Kevin Hart promote her work, you know what I mean? She said, America, tell him I said plug my stuff. Y'all go spam his page and tell him plug Tory stuff. Let me ask you, Lynia, as a woman, I don't see a problem with her keeping her name. What do you think?
When it's over, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you just mentioned this about Kim Kardashian. Don't use these kids as an excuse, because if you meet another dude and that dude want to marry you, you ain't keeping the last name Hart. Let's clarify that. You know what I mean? So this right now is about, it's your choice, right? Two, because it's attached to a name that has weight to it. Let's keep it all the way funky. That name got weight to it for her. So if she just went around saying whatever her last name is, that won't hold much weight for her right now. So until she gets to where she's going to utilize that last name. Me personally, if I'm getting a divorce from a husband, we're no longer together, I'm not keeping that man's name. I don't want your name no more. Like, I'm cool. And from personal experience, my mom was married to my oldest brother's father. She never changed her name and gave us that man's name. And my dad was like, are you crazy? Because we got different fathers. So, but I grew up with that name. So now I got to hyphenate my name because I don't grew up with somebody else's name. And then my dad's like, oh yeah, we're not doing this. We're going right back down here. But now that's how I ended up with my name being hyphenated, because that's how I grew up. It's no, but I damn sure wouldn't use her family name. And I'm saying that live.
I think also it would depend on how long you're married to a person. Like my parents were married for 27 years and they got divorced. But because my mom was already established as Donna Knight, to go back and change to her maiden name, I think time would make it, you know. What do you think, Chike?
I don't see a problem with someone keeping a name, especially if it's done you well. If it's done you well and it's your name and you went through all the legal paperwork to change your name, you don't have to change it back. But in her particular situation, I don't think that either you're gonna keep the name and leave him alone and tell him to stop promoting your work, or if he promotes your work, then you get your own name back. The name that you have, your last name, is a promotion. Leave that man alone.
Yeah, he's not responsible for promoting your stuff.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And if he start promoting you, then you need to pay him the promotion fee.
True. Nayyir, she said that he doesn't want his name back. He's not tripping. Do you think she should keep the name, or do you think she should change it, or think she earned it?
Yeah, I heard that. So that's a conversation they got to have. And if that's the conversation that they had, he said, I ain't tripping, keep it, you know. I think to each his own. If she want to keep the name, cool. If he doesn't want her to keep the name, that's a conversation they got to have. And she has to probably, you know, think about getting rid of the name, doing whatever she's going to do. But if she don't have a problem with it, he don't have a problem with it, his new wife don't have a problem with it, the kids don't have a problem, keep, whatever name you want. But if it becomes complicated and it makes things tough for people, I think that's probably when you have that conversation and really consider
Yeah.
changing
Most
that.
women that have young children normally keep the name the same because it's easier to do business with the children when the name is the same.
Much easier.
Yeah.
It's easier, period. Like you said, 27 years is quite a long time. That would have made things very difficult for your mom. Trying to, catch everything up with that, her maiden name. Yeah, a lot of stuff would have got lost. So personal decision.
Name, so it's a little different for me.
What is it?
I said I guess because I'm not attached. Like when you don't become attached in that aspect, especially when it comes to marriage. Because my debate for the longest time was if I ever got married, would I take my husband's name? That's been a debate for me. So I haven't crossed that bridge. I ain't married, but we'll see. I mean,
and that was a big thing for me. Just to kind of intervene, my wife doesn't take my last name because of the culture that she's from. For me, as a Westerner, that was something I always wished for. I want my wife to take my last name. That's what I always wanted. Children will have my last name, but my wife, because of her culture, Somali culture, it's just not that way. They keep their father's last name, and just as my children will have it. And it's like that in China as well. So it's not a foreign thing, but that was a big thing for me, because I always wanted, but it's okay. It was just a thing like, man, I always wanted to have, you know what I mean? So, but it is what it is. It's cool.
Well, when I get married, I'm keeping my last name and I'm hyphenated. It's going to be Evans-Winfrey. And then when we get divorced, my name is still going to be Evans-Winfrey. So, I mean,
I will say this. I think it's in Hispanic culture. That's why it's hyphenated. They have all these names. It's a combination of the mother and the father. When they have, Jose Gonzalez, Ramirez, Lopez, you know what I mean?
Names.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it all, to each his own, and how anybody feels about that. I'm about to just be like one word, like ye.
Ye, right.
Oh my God.
Okay, so y'all, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for Hot Topics. We'll come back. Chike is kicking it off. Movie reviews right back after this.